Nearly 9 years, the U.S. military shut down the war in Iraq today. Troops officially retiring and lowering the flag used by U.S. forces in Iraq during a ceremony in Baghdad today. U.S. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta was on hand, telling troops they leave Iraq with, quote, lasting pride. Since the war began, 4,500 Americans have died, 32,000 have been wounded, and it has cost the U.S. more than $800 billion. There are still 4,000 troops there, but their withdrawal should be finished by the end of this month. ABC 15 Now is asking you for your thoughts on the war in Iraq. And joining us on ABC 15 Now, Margie Bonds from Operation Homefront. And we still have Lady Law from 1015 with us. Your son, Marine Sergeant Michael Marzano, he was killed in 2005. This is really fresh for you. And like so many families, they have mixed reactions when asked, was it worth it?
I don't know. I hope so. The only thing I'd like to know is, can I go there and see what he saw and smell? And I don't feel that I can, so I'm not sure. It's a bittersweet.
It's a tough feeling. I can imagine that. He was ambushed by a suicide bomber, over there. And we've heard so many of those stories. So many of our men and women have come back mangled or never came back at all.
Right, or they come back totally different in the mind and stuff, because they're killing and they're being killed and they're watching their friends be killed. So there's a lot of things that actually happen, and I hope it was worth it. I have to think that it was, because it's hard to accept that he's not coming back.
Right.
And it not being worth it.
And this is just one of the many things. I know, Lady La, you are a military child.
Yes.
You grew up, both your parents were in the military. You feel the pain. You feel the pain of this mother. We all have felt the pain of this. President Obama said by the end of this year, all of our troops would be home with their families. Still 4,000 remain. Have we made the right steps here, do you feel?
Bringing our families home always feels like the right steps. We know that freedom's not free, and we support our troops. I definitely support my parents serving overseas and having been to Afghanistan and Iraq themselves, so I know what it's like to have those holidays without your family members, but I was fortunate to have mine come home. So your sacrifices are greater than most.
Right, right. And you, I know one of the Operation Homefront is so important to you. You work directly with these families. This transition is very, very hard for these families because they don't come home, many of them, these men and women, the same way as they went.
Well, they can't. I mean, think about what they've done, seen, and they're different people because of a war, so they try to reintegrate back with their family, and it's not an easy job, because now who's boss, and now who's got to make a decision, and do we go out in public? There may be a noise, there may be something that could set something off, so the tempers fly, and there can be a lot of things that can happen with reintegration.
And you wanted to make sure that your son's legacy never is forgotten, and you continue to ingrain yourself in this community. Talk a little bit about quickly what you're doing in addition to Operation Homefront, which we'll talk about later in the newscast.
We help make sure that our military families and our wounded warriors, if there's a dire financial need, that we're there to help them. Like, we just helped a wounded warrior because he was being evicted the other day, so we were able to pay his rent so we could keep that roof over his head. We had a wife whose electricity was shut off, and the air conditioner heater went also, so we were able to take care of that while our husband's deployed. We want to make sure that on the home front that the families and our wounded are taken care of, so that our military can focus on the mission over there.
Okay, well, we appreciate you so much for taking a few minutes with us here in this segment, but again, there are ways that you can help Operation Homefront and all of the other organizations through Operation Santa. We will talk much more about that with Margie coming up. We'll be right back.